Hello children. In my last video, I started with the chapter 18th century political formation, and we had started doing what happened in in around 1716 or after 1650, and what all political changes took place in the Indian subcontinent, and also how was Aurangzeb responsible for the downfall of the Mughal Empire. Today we will do the crisis of the empire and the later Mughals. After reaching its zenith means highest point, Mughal Empire started declining under Emperor Aurangzeb. This was because of Aurangzeb's military and religious policy, which depleted the financial resources of the Mughals. So now what happens? At this point explains that after reaching see, after, even in physics you might have studied, whatever, if you throw a ball, it reaches to a point and then comes back again to the ground. It was the same way with the Mughal Empire. So what happened is the Mughal Empire reached its top, and after that it started falling down or crumbling. And why did the Mughal Empire fall so rapidly? Because of the policies that Aurangzeb implemented, be it military policy, be it religious policy, and the finances. Finances were plundered because he fought a very long war in the Deccan, trying to overthrow the Marathas. And this was his the military and financial resources, they went hand in hand. He fought many wars for expansion, then the military invasion of the Deccan and other places, which were kept on emptying the treasury. This was the main reason for the downfall of the Mughal Empire. And also, as he had implemented various taxes on the non-Muslims. Under his succession, the efficiency of the imperial administration broke down. It became difficult to check governors and mansabdars. So now, as he ha- after his successors, after Aurangzeb died, what happened? His successors were so weak that they started losing their control over the governors and the mansabdars. Mansabdars again is a form of jagirdar, okay, or the jagir, a person who is responsible for the military administration, mansabdar. So what happened? The governors and mansabdars, they became financially sound. They became powerful with the politics also, and hence his successors could not keep a check. They could not control them. In the midst of this crisis, Nadir Shah's invasion in 1739 and invasion of Afghan ruler Ahmad Shah Abdali between 1748 to 1761 weakened the Mughal Empire. Not only this, but when this turmoil was taking place, the Iranian ruler Nadir Shah invaded India. Not only when the country was trying to overcome Nadir Shah's invasion and stand up on its own, again an Afghan ruler Ahmad Shah Abdali, he attacked India, and this gave a blow to the Mughal Empire. The nobility was divided into two major groups, Iranis and Turanis. So now there were certain things like people, the no, the empire, the Mughals had the ministers from Iran and Turkey. So the one who were from Iran, the descendants of the people who were from ministers who were from Iran, were known as Iranis, and those who were from Turkey were known as Turanis. For a long time, the later Mughal emperors were puppets in the hands of either one or the other of those powerful groups. So now what happened? These powerful groups, they started playing as a kingmaker, means राजा जो बना सके, जिसके हाथ में कठपुतली राजा बनाने की कोशिश करते रहे. The competition amongst different group of nobles further weakened the empire. These were two major groups or fractions, the Iranis and Taranis or Turanis. For a long time, the later Mughal emperor were puppets in the hands of either one or the other of the two powerful groups. So now these two powerful groups, the Iranis and the Turanis or the Taranis, they started making their own king. The person who became more powerful used to overthrow the other king and make one ruler himself. Though through the 18th century, the Mughal Empire gradually fragmented into a number of independent regional states. So now what happens, as this turmoil was going in Delhi about the kings, who will be the king or who will be the emperor, small states, they started becoming breaking themselves free and going independent. Some were regional, some in some there were some regional states also, like Punjab, the Jats. So these were small regions who craved out their own independent states, and big states like Awadh, Hyderabad. They also started going independent. Broke from the Mughal Empire and started ruling themselves. The person who was the governor or Mansabdar, they declared themselves as kings. The states of the 18th century can be divided into three overlapping groups. So now there were three groups. When the Mughal Empire was breaking down, we can divide the breaking up into three groups, like states that were old Mughal provinces such as Awadh and Bengal and Hyderabad. So these were the three big provinces which were ruled by the Mughals. The states that had enjoyed considerable independence under the Mughals as Watan Jagirs. Now there were certain states like the Sikhs, who had enjoyed, who were given, who were under the control of the Mughals, but they were given some sort of freedom, so that the ruler who was there, he could rule as a king on behalf of the Mughal emperor. So this came to be known as Watan Jagirs. Now let's come to the next topic, the emergence of new states. With the decline of Mughal authority, the governors consolidated their authority. So now what happened? The Mughals, when they were declining, they started in a frenzy or in a fit, they started consolidating. Means गवर्नर्स जितने थे उनको इकट्ठा करके अपनी अथॉरिटी दिखाने लगे. Broadly speaking, the states were divided into three overlapping groups: old Mughal provinces like Awadh, Bengal, and Hyderabad. The states of Hyderabad, which enjoyed considerable independence, like Watan Jagir, and several Rajput principalities, and last group included states like Marathas, Sikhs, and Jats. So now these three were the states which were under the Mughals. So they came big states. They came to be known as old Mughal provinces. Then there were Watan Jagirs. Not only the Jats and Sikhs, but also the Rajputs who enjoyed such independence, and they were known as Watan Jagirs. Then lastly, it was the Marathas, Sikhs, and Jats who declared themselves completely independent. They said, no, we are a ruler, and we will not be, we are not and Mughal Empire is not responsible for our act and anything, and we are not going to give them anything. Now let us see the old Mughal provinces. These included the states of Awadh, Bengal, and Hyderabad. Hyderabad state was founded by Nizam ul Mulk of Asif Jahan. So the person who declared the Hyderabad state to be independent was known as Nizam ul Mulk. Nizam ul Mulk Asif Jahan. So Nizam ul Mulk was the title, and therefore we call it the state of Nizams. The state was constantly engaged in a struggle against the Marathas. Like you might have seen the movie Panipat, where so basically Mughal, the Hyderabad state and Marathas, they were constantly fighting each other to prove themselves who's superior and who's more powerful and who was more braver. Awadh was founded by Burhan ul Mulk Sadat Khan in 1722. So now, after Hyderabad was founded by Nizam ul Mulk Asif Jahan, and Awadh was founded by Awadh as a state was founded by Burhan ul Mulk Sadat Khan in 1722. The rich alluvial plains allowed the development of the region. So now the soil of Awadh is very fertile. Why? Because the river Ganga flows through this region, and hence As it has a rich soil or fertile land, it's the development, basically development in those days was agriculture. So agriculture started developing, and it gave a, and Awadh became a rich state due to this. Bengal was founded by Murshid Quli Khan. He commanded revenue administration of the state. Under Alivardi Khan, the state became prosperous. Now, when Murshid Quli Khan became the revenue minister, he started. He had a he had a good leadership quality, and hence he declared Bengal to be independent of the Mughal Empire. He collected the revenue and just gave some amount to the Mughal emperor. And though he did not, and for this he had to forgo his superior, who was Ali Vardi Khan. Though all the development activities were planned by Ali Vardi Khan for Bengal. Again, Bengal was a rich had a rich soil because of river Ganga. Hyderabad state 1724 to 1748 was founded by Nizam ul Mulk Asaf Jahan. He was one of the most powerful members at the court of the Mughal Emperor Farooq Siar. So now, what happened? Nizam ul Mulk Asaf Jahan. Earlier, he was one of a very powerful ministers. Members of the court means ministers in the Mughal under in the court of Mughal Emperor Farooq Siar. Again, see if you see, every state will have different names, because after Aurangzeb, the Mughal Empire started breaking into many pieces, and one of the Mughal emperor was Farooq Siar, who ruled between 1724 to 1730 or 32. He was given the charge of the Deccan. So now what happened? Nizam ul Mulk, as a governor, to consolidate the power of the Mughals were losing in the Deccan, he was made responsible to control Deccan. But soon he became powerful there and declared himself the actual ruler of that region. So now, instead of controlling the Deccan, or taking the responsibility of the Deccan on behalf of Farooq Siar, he declared that, yes, I am the ruler of this region and I am the king. I don't have any nobody has authority over me. So I am the ruler of this region known as Hyderabad state. Although he was still a servant of the Mughal emperor, he ruled independently. Though he said, I am the ruler and I am not responsible, but he still gave a little amount to Farooq Siar, so that Farooq Siar did not say anything to him, like he was buttering, जैसे मस्का लगाते ना, वैसे ही निज़ामुल मुल्क आसफ जहाँ ने किया. Okay. The state of Awadh was founded by Burhan ul Mulk Sadat Khan in the year 1722. He did not like the Mughal influence in the Awadh region and therefore reduced the number of office holders or jagirdars appointed by the Mughals. So now what did Burhan Sadat Khan do? He did not like the interference from the Mughal emperors. Why? Because they were being replaced one after the other by the Turkish nobles as well as from the Iranian nobles. So he said, the officers and officials and the officers that were appointed by the Mughals, he reduced the number. He said, नहीं, अगर 10 हैं तो 5 ही रहेंगे, उससे ज़्यादा नहीं बढ़ेंगे. So and he also reduced the size of the जागीर. So उसने क्या किया, जागीर बहुत बड़ी बड़ी थी, or the estates were very big. So he reduced the size. He divided the states in and started ruling on the major area himself. And what did he do for ruling? He appointed his own people in the vacant position. He said, अच्छा वहाँ पे तो जागे खा लिए, ये आपकी जगह है. And he gave appointment to those who were his loyal, जो उसके वफादार थे. Okay. Now comes Murshid Quli Khan, took over control of Bengal and began to command the revenue administration of the state. He transferred all Mughal jagirs to Orissa in order to reduce the Mughal influence in Bengal. He ordered a major reassessment of the revenues of Bengal. Revenue was collected in cash with great strictness from all zamindars. So now what happened is मुर्शीद कुली खां टू कंट्रोल ऑफ बंगाल, मतलब वो खुद से बंगाल का कंट्रोल लेने लगा है. एंड he began to collect he became the revenue administrator, and for this, what to reduce the Mughal influence, he transferred some jagirs of Bengal to Odisha. तो थोड़ी लैंड उड़ीसा को दी थी, जिससे बंगाल में मुगल्स का कम हो इन्फ्लुएंस. He ordered और फिर उसने क्या कहा, let us reassess the Bengal revenue of Bengal की कितनी लैंड है and how much revenue we will get. Revenue was collected in cash with great strictness from all zamindars. So now what happened? The zamindars who did not, who were enjoying their life, collecting lots of tax and not giving it to the emperor, he started collecting. नहीं, आपको देना है तो इतना ही देना होगा, इससे कम में नहीं चलेगा. If you give less, you will lose your zamindari system, or you will lose your zamindari office. So hence with this, he became very strict and started collecting revenues. So that's all for today's video. In our next video, we will do the Watan Jagirs of the Rajputs, and thereafter we will try to finish the chapter in this video itself. Till then, have a wonderful day, boys.